Thanks for joining me on 10 Topics Live with Joey G. I'm here talking about traveling this week, so let me get into answering some of your questions. Thank you for asking questions on my Twitter and Instagram. It's at Joe_Gatto. Feel free to follow. So I'm talking about traveling. So I've traveled a lot. Of course, I've traveled my life before Jokers, but after Jokers, I've traveled with the tour and a bunch of stuff. I've actually only not been to 4 states. I got 4 states left to have visited all of the 50 states. So it's Alaska, of course. That one's a little furthest. I've been to Hawaii, though. You guys remember from the show that I threw a coconut at Murray in Hawaii. I have been in North Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. So those are my 4 that I have to get to. So I was very close to being in North Dakota because we did a show in South Dakota. And after that, the boys went up to Deadwood with the bus. But I flew to Denver to meet Bessie and hang out for a couple days because we were on tour. So she came out to Denver, which where our next show was. So I just missed North Dakota. But those are my 4 states. I do want to do like one of my vacations that I haven't done that I want to do is like a national park thing with my camera. I want to do like a photography stint, get a little photography action going on in some of the national parks. So I think that'd be a fun vacation, a fun reason to travel. So someday. I'm heavy into the Carib. That's what we call it. The Carib. It's the Caribbean if you're a pirate. But the Caribbean, I love Turks and Caicos. But I also love like Aruba I've been to. I got engaged in Caribbean and on the island of Curacao. So I really enjoy the Caribbean, like that Caribbean blue water I love so much. So Caribbean is big for me as far as a travel destination. It's also pretty easy to get to from New York. You can hop on a JetBlue flight, get right there, which is great. It reminds me of a plane trip story. So before Jokers, I used to work for a firm called Accenture. And I used to have to travel on the plane a little bit. It was a consulting firm. So when I traveled, I always had this thing when I was on the plane. I would say, I had this joke that I always did when I boarded the plane. So to the ticket person checking the tickets, or the stewardess, I'm sorry, when you walk in, I would say, I would do this joke where I would go slowly through first class. And my ticket would be like 22C, and I'd be like 22C. I'd be looking at the woman, be like, "Oh, what's your seat?" I'm like 22C, and she's like, she would laugh, of course, because it was so stupid. Why am I looking at the first 6 rows? I'm like, all right, if one of these seats pop open and you need to bounce out the plane, I'm in 22C. Come grab me. So one time it actually worked. The doors had shut. There's a couple rooms in first class and a couple spots in first class, and the woman's like, "Come on up," and I sat in first class. That was one of my first times I ever was like, oh my God. I was like, I got a first class scambone. So that was fun. From flying. I used to love doing that. It's one of my favorite jokes. Now when I fly with the boys, my favorite joke is struggling with the overhead compartment and trying to get something in or out of it and just standing too close or knocking into people with my belly. That's one of my favorites to do. So I really enjoy that. Then a road trip story that I have, in the turn of the century, 1999 to 2000, I decided to take a cruise. So me and my best friend at the time, there's 5 other of us, there was 6 of us. So we jumped in a van and we drove down. My cousin Michael Polano, he was driving. And on the turnpike, there's these toll. You know, when there's a toll, there's sometimes a basket if you had exact change back in the day before Easy Pass, really. It was really popular. And you would just, throw the change into the thing and you'd be able to go if it was exact change only. So those were the ones that people liked, and there was never really a line there. So we're driving down, and it's 1999 to 2000. So, of course, on every radio is going to party like it's 1999 by Prince. So we're all dancing and singing on it, and my cousin's got the big stupid glasses on that say 2000. And we're like, he's driving, it's his turn to drive, and he has 35 cents. And we're all laughing and singing, and he rolls up to the basket, and he just throws the money. And what he didn't realize was he didn't pick a basket. He actually picked, there was a toll collector there, and he just hit her in the face with 35 cents. And he was like, oh. And she was just standing there, and she was like this, and he just drove away. And that was one of my favorite mistakes we ever made. And we laughed probably through the whole state of driving down, like all through Virginia or wherever it was. So that was a really funny story for my drive. So let's get into your questions. You guys ask questions on my Instagram and Twitter. I appreciate you. At Chef BC from DC, if you were to travel to one place in the world just for the food, where would it be and what would you eat? Italy and everything. I haven't been to Italy yet and I can't wait to go. At Mead6W, what is the one essential you can't travel without? Besides identification, I think you mean something like you go. You know what I do love traveling with actually is I have a travel wallet. So I have my wallet that is like has everything in it, but then I have like a skinnier wallet that just I'll be able to hold my like hotel key and like some cash and like a credit card and my ID. And it's like a smaller wallet, like not my bigger fat one. And I love that thing. And when I don't have it, I'm like, I forgot my travel wallet. But why can't that just be my everyday wallet? That doesn't make any sense. It's just a wallet. I should just have that one every day. So I would say that's it. At Taylor Bent says, do you have any tips for traveling on a budget? No. I'm not good with money. I will say points. There's so many scams you could run with points. Travel points to pay for your tickets. You use a credit card, sign up for a new credit card. Use that money to pay for the plane ticket, then redeem with points. You could go down. I'm not the right guy to ask for that, but there's so many people to ask for that. You do a quick like YouTube search or on the Google. There'll be so many. On the Google's a thing that I say that you guys should start saying. At Tony_Switzer. Out of all the places you visited, which is your favorite one? I've had a couple surprise cities. Pittsburgh surprised me very much. Greensboro, North Carolina surprised me very much. Those were great. I really, really enjoy Ohio, like the whole state. Columbus, Dayton. I really love Cleveland, Cincinnati. It's a mix of the fans being really good people. I love to gamble. There's casinos everywhere. And I just really like the towns. So I was pleasantly surprised by Ohio. Let's see what's next. At Natalie_Diaz, tips for someone traveling with anxiety during these times. Good question. I would say stay home. Never leave your house. Ever. Now, do you see how ridiculous that sounds? That was a little bit of reverse psychology. I think you should leave your home. What I would do is I would say probably I would try to travel on off-peakish if you can. Don't go away for the weekend. Try to leave on like a Tuesday. Because that'll probably help. And maybe baby steps. Maybe don't take a long flight at first or whatever. Maybe take a little road trip, something like that. And then also equip yourself with everything you'll need. That'll make you feel safe. If you're worried about the virus and traveling because of that, then make sure you hand sand up, you're masked up, you're all set and you feel comfortable. I will say that I've been pleasantly surprised. I've flown a couple times, and once with my family actually. And it was very well done from what I could tell. So I think that's important. And then travel with a buddy, so you're not alone. Okay. At Casey Boungen says, if you could travel back in time to anywhere, where would it be? I would love to see Rome, ancient Rome, Colosseums, that whole thing. I think that would be really interesting to see. Also, December 17th, 1948. I don't know what happened that day. I want to see what happened. I want to be there, see what happened. I'd also like to be there when my grandparents moved and bought my house on Harbor Road. That day would be a cool day because that house ended up being the house that my mother grew up in and then we grew up in. It was really cool. So I think that's a real part of my family history. So I think that'd be really cool to see that day. And that was like in the Staten Island in the 40s or 50s, 40s. No, probably 50s. It was either the 40s or 50s, friends. It's unclear. So if I had to pick the time, it's going to be hard for me because I don't even know when the date was. So, all right, we're talking about traveling. Let's see. At Tony Gunk 145, do you prefer traveling by car or plane? Plane. Planes are so much faster, but I've made so many more memories traveling in the car. I will say traveling by bus with the boys is a lot of fun. Our bus tours are always a good time, and I've had a lot of fun times, especially when we did the UK tour. Shout out to my UK peeps. When we did the UK tour and we had a double-decker bus, that was really, really fun. So I had a lot of fun doing that. If you had to travel and could only bring 3 things, what would they be and why? Obviously, your family members don't count. Okay. Well, I bring 3 dogs. I'd have to pick 3 out of the 9. I know which 3 it would be. Biscotti, Spumoni, and Tartufo. Oh, I wouldn't leave home Napoleon, though. I don't know. That third spot be hard. Biscotti, Spumoni for sure. I've actually traveled with Spumoni. Traveling with Spumoni is fun. I went to Detroit for a bunch for this conference I do called the Hero Roundtable. Look them up if you want. They're really good organization. And they invite me to speak, and I bring Spumoni every year for like a meet and greet. And she hangs with me. She's my little travel buddy, and we hang out in the hotel. And it's a little piece of home, and I really love bringing her with me. I miss doing that and bringing her, just her. At CMC Williams, what is your bucket list vacation destination that you haven't been able to get to yet? Australia, hands down. I wanted to go for my 20th birthday, my 21st birthday, my 25th birthday, my 30th birthday, my 35th birthday, my 40th birthday, my 45th birthday. My 45th birthday is this year. I don't think it's happening. So I will eventually get there. Australia. At Anissa Selena _Selena, have you ever had a traveling mishap, lost luggage, canceled flights, etc.? I went to Aruba. It was right after my dad died. Not right after, but it was like a year after. My mom wanted to go to Aruba. She's like, let's go to Aruba. Okay, we go to Aruba. Me, Big Vin, my sister Carla, all of us, we go, right? My sister Carla is not married at this point, engaged. So we go, my sister, my brother-in-law, so we go. The thing that happens is I'm so worried about getting my mom's luggage and taking care of my mom that we get in the car, we get back to the place, everybody's going through the luggage. I forgot to grab my own bag. So now I have to go in to get my own bag. So I go back to get my own bag. And this wasn't that long after 9/11. So everything was stepped up, right? And me and Big Vin in Aruba go through the exit only doors because we're not paying attention. And we go through the exit only doors and there's an armed guard there. And he stops us, not pointing the gun at us. He steps in front of us with the arm gun. And I was like, oh, and he's like, no. And he's like, you can't enter here. And I was like, I forgot my bag. And he looks at Big Vin and he looks at me and he goes, you could go. Him, he waits here. So I was like, okay. So I said, all right, I'll just go with this man with the machine gun. And I just followed this guy and I found my luggage. So that was good. So I guess that wasn't a mishap. That was just a little weird thing that happened. And what has been your favorite place to take your kids so far at this be my TV 3033 TS? Asks. I'm super excited that I'll be taking my kids to Disneyland. We got to take Milan a couple years ago, and this year I'm hoping that we're able to take Remo as well and go as a family. I think that'll be so fun. I think we'll have a great time. It's so fun to see your kids experience that. And I do the land, not the world. I grew up being a West Coaster when it came to Disney. I have all my memories of my grandparents and my parents there, so I want to do that with my kids. So that's basically my bucket list for them, for us to experience Disney over there. So thanks so much for listening to my topic on travel, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.